Well, hello, Bowleggers. Today we're going to get into a dessert that I grew up with, that my mother taught me to make years ago. God, probably 40 plus years ago. That I've always enjoyed and still enjoy today. I don't make it quite as much as often today as I used to years ago, but I still from time to time get a taste for it. And that's old-fashioned bread pudding. And let me show you how I put it together. Here we have a large bowl with bread, chipped up bread, and what I did, you could use any kind of bread just as long as your bread is not seasoned. It has to be plain bread, no seasoned bread, because it's going to alter the recipe. But I just use plain bread from the store. This is sliced plain French bread. Pretty much no flavoring, no seasoning, no nothing, just plain bread, like I said. Any plain bread will work. You get that and you chip it up, tear it up in little small pieces into a bowl, like I've done here. This here is about a loaf and a half of chipped up bread in this bowl of this French bread slices here. This is about a loaf and a half. And now what we want to do, now that we gotta have our bread all chipped up fine, we want to come in and pour probably about 4 to 5 cups of half and half. Now, if you don't have half and half, you can use pet milk and 2 cans of pet milk and 3 cans of jug milk. That will work just as well. Okay, you want to make sure that bread is underneath that milk, saturated in there very well, every inch of it. Because what you want the bread to do is to begin to somewhat dissolve. You want the bread to pretty much kind of fall apart and dissolve in the milk. Well, in the half and half in this case. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add about a cup and a half of water to the mixture. We have enough half and half, but we're going to add about a cup and a half of water to the mixture. Make sure every inch of that bread is saturated well in that in your half and half, or milk, whichever one you use. Now we want to get our flavoring going. We're going to put about three, this is not much left in this bottle, so I want to say about 3 teaspoons of vanilla flavor. And we want to do about a half teaspoon of ground allspice. About a half teaspoon should be fine of ground allspice. A whole teaspoon, level teaspoon of cinnamon. Make sure it's level, not heaping, but level of cinnamon. And we want about a half teaspoon of mace. About a half teaspoon of mace. And that's going to be our seasoning. Now, while we're at it, we're going to add 1 cup of raisins. These are your standard raisins, not the golden raisins. The golden raisins are the white raisins. We don't want those. You could use those, but to me, the flavor betters with the dark raisins, which are the standard raisins. Oh yeah, this is coming together great now. Now at this point, we want to go ahead and add 2 cups of sugar. That's 1. That's 2. All right, we want to incorporate that in well. Turn your bowl as you're stirring because you want to make sure you're incorporating everything: the bread, the milk, the raisins, the cinnamon, the mace, and the allspice. You want to make sure you're getting all of it evenly incorporated within your bowl. Just keep turning and keep stirring. Now at this point, this is where I normally want to taste it to make sure the seasoning is fine, as well as it has enough sugar in it. So let me get a separate spoon, and we're going to taste a little bit of it just to see, to make sure. You could use a tad bit more cinnamon. And a little bit more sugar. There we go. And the reason you want to taste it at this point, because you have to put your eggs in. And I'm not a fan of tasting raw eggs, so I always taste mine before I put the eggs in. But at this point, I know it's seasoned well. It's enough sugar, and it's enough spices in it. Now, we want to add a half a stick of melted butter. Okay, that's a half stick of melted butter. Make sure that's mixed in well. And if your butter is hot, if you just melted your butter, make sure you mix it in well. You don't want it laying on top of your pudding here, and then add your eggs, because once you do that, the hot butter will cook your eggs, and you don't want that. So make sure you get that hot butter mixed in very well before you add the last step, which will be your eggs. All right. Now, we can crack our 4 eggs in. These are large eggs, and it's going to pudding this size, which should probably feed about 12 people. It's going to take about 4 eggs. There we go. That's all our eggs. Now we have to make sure we get those incorporated in well. That is looking good. Looking very good. I used to make this when I was younger. I used to make it often. Very often. I was a huge fan of bread pudding. And I would, and the funny part about it, whenever I made it, most of the time, I found my brother and sister, they liked it. They didn't eat it like I did. I was a huge fan of it, and most of the time, the entire pan would be consumed by me. They would eat some, but most of it, I would eat all of it. But I'm a huge fan of bread pudding. Always have been. Always have been. Okay. That is looking good. Now what we want to do, let's get that out of the way. Get our baking pan that we're going to bake it in, our baking dish, which is right here. We're going to spray a little nonstick spray in it. And the very last thing you want to add to your bread pudding is a little cooking oil. And I'm going to add probably just about a half cup of cooking oil. I'm going to add to it. That should be enough for this size. Now, if the pudding was smaller, you would add less oil. But a dish this size, which is a 9 by 12, it takes about a half a cup of oil, cooking oil. And it's best to use vegetable oil, not canola oil. Vegetable oil works a lot better with this recipe. All right. Now, to get this into our dish, gonna lift your bowl carefully and slowly pour it into your baking dish. And we got a little bit more than this dish is going to hold, so I'll get a second dish and have two bread puddings. One moment. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for our second one. And now we're going to get you guys turned so you can see this good bread pudding go in the oven, and it will be done in a little bit. And off she goes. Well, guys, that's going to cook probably about a good 45 minutes to an hour on 375. Once it's finished, I will bring you back, let you see the finished product, and come back and join me at that time. See you in a few. Bye-bye. Well, welcome back, guys. Let's check this here bread pudding and see what we got. I think it should be done by now. And yes, it is. Ooh, oh, it's hot. And here's the finished product. This is our bread pudding. It's much too hot now to handle. We're going to give it a chance to cool, and I'm going to bring you guys back, and I'm going to cut a piece for you so you can see the inside of it. But that's the finished product of the bread pudding. So guys, come back one more time and I'll show you the inside of it when I cut a slice for myself. See you in a few. Hi guys, and welcome back. Let's cut a piece of this good bread pudding and see what it looks like on the inside, as well as what it tastes like. Here we go. I can tell it's very moist, and that's due to the butter, the half and half, as well as the cooking oil. But it is quite moist. We're going to scoop a little section out of there. And you guys see the inside of it here? The raisins and the bread. Let's take a bite of it and see what it tastes like. Boy. Still quite hot, but it is delicious. It is delicious. I hope you guys give this a try. And when you try it with some vanilla ice cream. It's very good with that. If not vanilla ice cream, some Cool Whip topping. goes very well with it. But give it a try. Hit me in my email, rickyj429@gmail.com, and let me know what you thought of the recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed the recipe. I hope you're having a great day. And always remember, like I've always tell you guys, try to be someone's blessing today. Have a good one. Bye-bye.